I did find the DX patch. I am a little confused as to why there's not one for each of the versions, unless it compiles them all together somehow or something, but I did find that odd that it was just like one patch that works for apparently all of them. I haven't really tested this, so hopefully it patched correctly and there are no issues. But I'm really looking forward to this. I haven't played a Star Force game in... Good lord. I mean, I probably played Star Force 1 or 2, or specifically 2, like, maybe within the few years after it came out on, like, a replay or something, probably. But it's been at least, like... What? This was 06, 2 was 07, and 3 was 08, I think. So, I'd never played 3, which I'm very much looking forward to. A lot of people really praise that game highly. So that was 15 years ago. So I think it's safe to say that it's been between 10 and 15 years. And that's being, like, kind of generous. Hey, Gustavo, appreciate the joining the memberships. Welcome to the Shadow Operatives. I don't have, like, a spiel for saying that, so... Appreciate it, man. Let's see here. I'm guessing Legend Mode would be better served for, like a replay or New Game Plus. What do you think about Legend Mode? I haven't really... I would change it anytime with the key items. Maybe we go Legend Mode and just try it out. Mode for truly legendary players. Enemies power up. The thing that I wonder though is like... Yeah, I just wonder... I mean, I can turn it off if it becomes too much. I'm just thinking balancing from like Star Force 1 to 2 to 3. Because Star Force 2 has a DX patch, but it's like the almost DX patch, which I think only changes the encounter rate. Let's try Legend Mode. If it's too much or whatever, then we'll back out. I'm just worried that if I force myself through Legend and we get to Star Force 2 and 3, it's not going to be as difficult, but we'll see. I remember almost nothing from these games too. Has like super hard bosses. Okay, I guess we'll see. If I get my ass whooped by what's his name? Taurus, whatever. Taurus Fire. The new Space Exploration Agency, NASA. So I see they've what was it, Naya at some point in between Battle Network and now? They went from NAXA to NASA. In an effort to friendly relationship or brother band with aliens. Launch a space station named Peace. Man's dream to find other intelligent life among the stars had finally been realized. However, the space station, the hope of man, met with a mysterious accident and it disappeared to whereabouts unknown. Of course, many people worked hard to find it, but the space station could not be found. A few months after the incident, a section of Peace was found in the sea. NASA took it hard and stopped the search, put the project on hold permanently. 3 years to the day have passed since. Yeah, I don't remember, like, jack shit about the story. There's certain, like, bosses and stuff I remember, and characters. But... I can also swap the screens. Dude, I fucking love emulation. Like, I can just click the stick, and it swaps the screens. It's beautiful. I believe it's already been 3 years since Kelvin's space station vanished. Well, shit. Anime protagonist shit. Card Force system. Okay, bet. Yeah, I don't know, like, what's kind of the consensus on these games? I know a lot of people hold Star Force 3 in high regard, which makes me really excited to play it. because that could end up ranking among my top Mega Man games, ideally, right? I feel like I remember Star Force 2 not getting as much love, at least whenever the last time I would have looked into that was, which might have been several years ago. I'd say the consensus is that Star Force 1 is appreciated in value over time. I believe that. And the DX patch, I'm sure, definitely helps. I was looking at the changes, and I just glanced at them. I feel like they changed kind of a lot of stuff. Star Force 2 is kind of the middle child, still solid, but not talked about as much. Very special pair of glasses. Oh, what's good, Space Cowboy? Got the visualizer. Now that's the look I remember. Source with the bow. Transer. Aha. Star Force 3 is the goat. You wish you could say more. Hey, just hold your tongue. I'll see soon enough. I'll see soon enough. Depending on how long these games are, this might take us all the way to Persona 3 Reload, which I don't intend to stream the whole game of because I want some of that to myself. But I'm actually traveling like the few days before P3 Reload comes out, but I get back, or I should be getting back like the day it releases. And so that'll be sick. Because I mean, shit. If I can afford to, I'd like to just fucking stream overnight or stream all day, basically. Just at least one day that weekend or something like that. Do like a super long one. That's gonna be hype. I want to pay attention to the story, but I also want to like commentate. Okay, email. That's great. Gio's portrait shows him sad. His portrait changes through the story. Transfer pic. Interesting. By pushing select, you can switch between the different screens. Okay. Is this about to be like... Wait a second. I'm reading that again. Is this going to be like foreshadowing for social media, basically? That's what it seems like, because this game came out in 06. Like, wasn't that around the time Facebook and shit was starting to begin with? Maybe a little bit earlier? Or at least when it started getting, like, out of colleges and shit like that. Navi is currently your transer. If you swipe a Navi card through your transer, you will activate an incredible power. Navis are indispensable friends. All transers are registered to one of 3 satellites up in outer space. Pegasus, Leo, or Dragon. Okay. On the same satellite can communicate. What other band is made? Oh, I fucking pressed it again. Damn it. Interesting. I'm basically going to be learning these systems, like, brand new, for the most part. I mean, obviously there's some stuff from Battle Network that kind of carries over. I don't know how favorites work at all. I guess I should just play. Item. Small energy, large energy. Okay. Unlocker, cloaker, search eye. And I will say that I did find the gameplay of these games to be pretty fun. Like, when I was growing up, I don't think it hit the same as Battle Network, but I don't really think it necessarily needs to. You know? Like, in my Battle Network tier list, I think I mentioned, like, Star Force is just not quite the same, but I don't mean that derogatorily. It's just, like, it's kind of a different beast. Although, once I'm done streaming these, I'd like to do an updated tier list that includes the Star Force games. I think that could be fun. Since I played through, particularly, like, Battle Network 4 and 6, like, replaying those has me, like, kind of reconsidering where I place them a little bit, maybe. 6 is probably fine where it's at, but it just depends on where Star Force ranks. Like, if Star Force 3 ends up being an S tier, then there's probably not room for BN6 to get up there, you know? It's more reactionary. That does make sense because you only have the side-to-side. It's almost... We'll get into it as I play, but it reminds me almost like of Punch-Out in that way. And Punch-Out is fucking fun. Oh, and there's no run button, you just auto-run? Guess I'll head up to Vista Point. Can I view... Okay, so is that the only screen that I have then? Do I have, like, a map? There's no map. Guess I'll just explore as per usual. Dude, this kid... Is this kid okay? His eyes are going in separate directions. I guess I shouldn't make fun, but, you know. I can tell you that wasn't intentional, probably. Oh, it's Shin-Iji. He's the time traveler now. But I do like the, I like a lot about this series. It's just, it's hard coming to me. Like, I don't really, because I don't remember much. Like, I remember these guys. Luna Platts of Echo Elementary, Class 5A. Because you're taller. Okay. Is the brother screen on your transer shows information about your brothers. Brother. You can access this screen by selecting brother on the menu screen. Okay. Sure, just in case. For EM waves. Okay. Dude, I keep saying, like, these series are tied, like, this series and Persona are, like, so, like, they have so many common threads. Granted, it's a lot of shonen kind of stuff, which makes sense, but it's just mechanically. Like, dude, Mega Man is so far ahead of its time constantly. I'd love to see them come back and do it again, like, make a new series or something that is equally as ahead of its time as Battle Network and Star Force are thematically, and even, like, dude, the classic NES games, the Mega Man games, those are some of the best. Like, those games hold up so much better than so many NES games in general, in my opinion. There's still some datedness to them, but like you know, having a password system and not a save system directly, but largely it's like, you know, it's not like jumping into some other games on the NES that are like way more punishing in a sense, because Mega Man's pretty punishing, but like, it's not like Castlevania where you're locked into your jump. It's not like, you know, the original Mario Brothers where like the momentum feels a little weird. Like Mega Man just, I don't know. It's interesting. And then X adding like the dash and all that, like, this series is really special, dude. Like, Mega Man just in general. I've not been paying attention to what she was saying at all. Link abilities or powers. I'm sure I'll figure it out as I actually play. Do you see the message? Test for message is where you can leave a note. I have no idea what to put. Do I have to put it? Do I have to put something? I do. Excuse me. I'm burping. That's gross. I'm trying to keep it to myself. We'll just say hello. Just keep it simple. Secret is where you write your secret message. Right, this was all with the multiplayer connectivity stuff, right? I literally have no idea what to put here. Where's the space button? I'm just gonna say I have no secrets. Is it gonna look stupid with the line break? Do I have to do this? I'll come up with something funny for that later, but it's not really relevant, I think. Well, Luna says it's pretty not necessary. Yeah, I figured it was mostly for that. If I had to guess, because this game is so heavily tutorialized, because it's introducing a new series and all that, wouldn't be surprised if that's part of the reason why, at least I tended to like Star Force 2 better, just because it got you into the action faster, but I think it's okay for the first game to kind of lay groundwork, because then you can kind of carry that knowledge into sequels, you know? Star Force 3 online. Hey, I mean, it could happen again if they do a Star Force collection. That'd be sick. Alright, I'm just gonna skip whatever she's saying because I'm like tired of reading. Train. Heard people long ago used to ride these. Damn. We really are in the 23rd century. Turn his eyes to the heavens. Oh shit. Are we gonna get our fusion on or what? What is this guy's name? Dude, I forget. Such a sick design though. Omega Xis? Xis? How do you pronounce that? Just call him Omega, I guess. Just call me Mega? Okay, I see. Omega Sis? Okay. Battle time? Oh, they moved the train, I see. Chunk of space is one word. Okay, I remember this. Is this like you have specific jack-in points? Star Force 1's is pretty much Geo's character arc, but he continues to grow after that. Just Y to put on your visualizer. That would be X in my case. I like having them swapped. I feel like top face button always makes sense for menu. Like, cause you know how Xbox and Nintendo buttons are swapped? I typically like having B and A be like actual B and A on the Xbox controller, even if it's flipped. Like, A being at the bottom is always how I like having it, ideally. And so I leave A and B like mapped to A and B, even though it's flipped. But then X and Y I map to the opposite usually, so that way you know, Y being the top button is the menu button still. Not really either here nor there, but just, you know, something I have to deal with emulation a lot of the time. This design for Mega Man kind of goes hard, though. You get used to it. You get used to it. That's why Phase-On UI is nice for the few games that it's applicable for on Dolphin, but for most emulators, like, there's not really a way to change what the game says. That's why it's nice when games offer in-game configuration options, which some games do for emulator, but like, for instance, when I'm playing a PlayStation 2 game, I'm having to remember, like, X is A, circle is B, square is X, and triangle is Y. But I just know that, even though I've never really played on a PlayStation controller for any extended period of time. It does get confusing, though, because sometimes I'll see X and press the actual X button, and not, like, cross, as it's called on PlayStation. These little Chow-looking dudes. Panic themes now have a real-world and wave version. That's cool. Dude, I love the pixel art, though. Where am I supposed to go? Am I supposed to go, like... If I touch the train, I'll go into Oh, I see. Kind of. Hold the Y button in a cursor will appear. I don't remember this at all. Alright, I'm glad that it doesn't use the touchscreen for that. I appreciate the restraint, considering this is an 06 game. Oh, is that a DX change? Was it touchscreen or something, then? Oh, okay. The cursor is a new thing in DX. That's badass. So did they take that out for Star Force 2 and 3? And that's why the DX patch is only, like, the encounter rate for SF2? Or maybe touchscreen's a little off on DS screens. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Those EM viruses have got to be around here. Now I'm ready for some actual combat. See these polished up 3D models. This has got to be one of the best panic themes. Like, most of the panic themes in BN are like, honestly, kind of whatever. Well, maybe that's because I'm just so used to hearing them in post-game eternally. I'm gonna just go for it. Okay. Oh, so I can select everything. And doesn't the Buster charge automatically? Yeah, that's right. And then obviously this doesn't reach. I'm gonna have to get used to what these chips do, but... Wide sword doesn't really help me. I mean, I guess I might as well select as much as I can, right? I guess gold chips have a higher capacity or something. Yeah, the swapping screens is really nice, being able to do that on the fly. Big facts. So wide sword is even, like, more terrible, right? So there's much of it. You can lock on by pressing down on the D-pad. Let me try that. Oh, okay. Maybe I should have done the tutorial, but I didn't want to sit through it. I was just like, man. After all the BN games having a forced tutorial, it's like... White cards are basically star chips? Okay. Whereas golds can only be chosen with certain other chips or something like that. I wish I had a spreader, or whatever it's called. Oh, wait a second, I can... Oh, that was unfortunate. Oh, and you can just hold for rapid? Okay. Sick. I may end up turning off the legend mode just to kind of get warmed up. It's been a long ass time since I played any of these. It would say you can only pick cards on the same row or column. Oh, okay. That makes sense. The lock-on is kind of sick, though. Music is kind of a vibe, though, I will say. Yo, this room is kind of sick, though. Is that a Nintendo Wii? Or some futuristic equivalent? Guess I can give a update on Nocturne, just because I'm making my way through that. And I'm going to do a video on it when I finish it. It's just taking a while. I'm like level 40. I just unlocked the third Kalpa of the Labyrinth of Amala, and story-wise, it's hard for me to say exactly where I'm at, kind of. HP Mems comes in 10s and 20s. So there's a mix, okay. But yeah, Nocturne's been a slow burn. I feel like I'm not as into it now as I was like earlier on revisiting it, but there's still a lot to like, I think. I do think the difficulty of the game is way overblown still. But again, I think that's because it's not my first Mega 10 game. Yeah, you should. You should. I wouldn't spend full price on the remaster if you can help it. Try to get it on sale, but I mean, it's one of those like classics basically at this point. Like I actually think that the story is kind of interesting. It just gets kind of sparse the further you get. It definitely is more focused on like the dungeon crawling aspect of things, which makes sense. That's kind of the identity of Megami Tensei in general. Okay. So if we can find like I guess like a wave hole, then I can go into each of these comps and kind of explore. But I'm still hoping that SMT5 gets ported to PC. Even though I've heard the story is like kind of shitty, which is unfortunate. And that's the thing about like people will say like, I've heard people say, and I think I've been guilty of this as well, that mainline SMT isn't so much about like plot per se or like story as much of a focus. But like, it's not like Nocturne's story is bad. It's just there's not really a whole lot besides what you're doing from the dungeon crawling and combat angle as far as story, right? Because story can be told through, like I think Dunkey mentioned this in his Mario Wonder video of like, the story of Mario is going through the levels. You know, like those are the events, those are the plot events. He got a mushroom, he jumped on a Goomba, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, no, the atmosphere though, like that shit is fucking peak. And I knew that. I knew that already, even though I bailed on Nocturne pretty early initially. R button or X to see card descriptions. Okay, so he said if you select a non-white card as a favorite, it turns white. White cards are kind of rare, but if you set a card as a favorite, then it'll turn into a white one in battle. Okay. So I want to favorite ones that aren't already white. Already know this. Press the Y button to bring up a shield, okay. You make your own star cards, that's kind of cool. You can't block a bodily attack, it's just projectiles, I guess, mostly. Some attacks can break through your shield, so be careful, okay. This is very Punch-Out-esque in a sense. It's like more dynamic than that for sure, but it reminds me of that. Like you move left, or I guess dodge left, dodge right, but that's cool. You land a card attack on an enemy just as they're about to attack. It's a counter, yep. That'll catch them off guard. They'll be stunned. You'll get one bonus card at that time. You can only Normally you can only use cards in the custom screen, but if you land a counter, then you'll get an extra card you can use. Or pick from your card folder at random. Ah. Okay. Counters can only be performed with attack cards that don't dim the screen. Makes sense, yeah. That's how it works in Battle Network. Okay. This sounds like multiplayer stuff, so I'm gonna pass. Wait a second. So can I just... Oh wait, I can just jack into these. What's this dude doing here? No longer have full synchro, but countering with a well-built folder can perform better than full synchro. That's what it sounds like if you're able to just like get more cards and stuff. Oh, do I have to do this? Oh, wait a second. Can I not do this right now, or am I forgetting a step? I guess I have to... Okay, wait, I have to go on the Cyber Road, or whatever it's called. Okay. Let's talk to some humans already. Okay, so I'll talk to everybody then. Everyone's favorite Mega Man trope. So the TV tells me, that's funny. But yeah, what was I saying before? I guess I was just saying that, like, SMT has killer atmosphere. Like, that shit is fucking peak. See an Earthling's personal page. But I don't know, I want more Mega 10 games to be, like, officially accessible, though. Like... And that's why I am hoping that SMT5 does get a PC port, or, like, a complete version, or, like, whatever. But really, I want SMT4 ported to, single-screen systems. That would be sick. Because it, like, that game is impressive for a 3DS game, but it's like... I don't know, if I have a choice to play a game, either, like, double screens or single screen, I'm probably going to pick the single screen option pretty much every time. It's rare that that's the case, but, you know. And it could be an instance where if they port that game over, it's just going to be, like this setup, basically, the bottom screen in the corner kind of deal. I had to just see how Etrian Odyssey handled it. Because it's something that I was considering, is that, like, Atlas did that remake poll as far as, like, you know, what games do people want to see remade, and Persona 3 and Persona 2 duology tied for first. So obviously P3 is getting a remake. But then if you look at the bottom 5, number 10 was Etrian Odyssey. But that game didn't get a remake. They remastered the first 3 games and put them on modern systems. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if the bottom 5 end up getting more of a remaster treatment or something like that. Yeah, SMT4 is cool. Like, that's probably my favorite soundtrack of mainline SMT, TBH. Nocturne's soundtrack is really fantastic too, but there's something about 4's that's just, like, more my vibe, I guess. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. What? Whoops. Oh, wait a second, this doesn't reach. But I can do that. Ah. Alright, it is kind of annoying having to swap screens. Some versions of Devs Mume allow you to keep the main screen focused, but this one doesn't have that option for some reason. And I'd rather take the up-res 3D models and all that stuff that I explained last time than deal with, I'll just deal with swapping screens manually. It's not a huge deal. Ground wave. Also, I keep holding B like that's actually doing anything. Dude, this is like comps within comps within comps. It's crazy. Large energy. But yeah, I like the single screen experience better. It's better for immersion and atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. I can, like, for tactical games like Fire Emblem and stuff like that, I kind of do like the second screen. In certain cases, in the less story-oriented Fire Emblems like Shadow Dragon, I appreciate the second screen, but like the Tellius games, for instance, I'm like, I don't really have a problem with them being single screen. That was bad. Also, I should swap this. Oh wait, so that's the shield. Let me try this. As long as your shield blocks a hit, you can cancel out of it. Okay. Let me turn off this difficulty thing, just so I don't randomly get my ass kicked. How do I turn this off? Item? Key item? I feel like I'm just taking too much damage. Oops. Okay. Receiving double damage from Mets. Yeah, I'm like not trying to just get wiped randomly. I want to warm up into it. Especially because I'm assuming that Star Force 3 ramps up difficulty pretty significantly. That's kind of the impression I get, at least. I need to take a look at my favorites. Ground wave 1. And yeah, there's no codes, which is kind of nice too. I guess I'll just take this opportunity to heal. I'm trying to think, what other games have I been playing, though? I dabbled with the, I actually jumped into some Castlevania stuff the other night. Maybe it was last night. I got, like, the classic, or the anniversary collection, with, like, all the older Castlevania games, which I haven't played in a long time. or even tried, and I actually kind of like them more than I remember. I'm still not the biggest fan of, like, your jump arc being locked, TBH. Like, I like being able to maneuver in the air, but those games are, like, they're cool. For sure. I especially liked the one, I think it's Bloodlines. Not that I liked it, but I liked that it connected to Portrait of Ruin, which I don't hold Portrait of Ruin that highly for story purposes per se, but that was my favorite of the DS Castlevanias when I played them earlier this year, so it was kind of cool to see, like, oh, that's Jonathan's dad that you play as, and also the ghost guy that gives you the quests and shit are the playable characters in Castlevania Bloodlines, and I was like, what the fuck? I had no idea there was a connection to that. So that was pretty cool. And I also dabbled with, like, yeah, Bloodlines is one of the Genesis ones. Oh, I didn't. Whoops. I just wanted to get the healing anyhow. Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a super story-heavy game, because it's a Castlevania platformer, like an old-school one, but that can... It was like John Morris was one of the characters, and I was like, Morris? Wait a second. Jonathan Morris is... You know, it's him and Charlotte in Portrait of Ruin. And it's like, huh. Good old Texas boy. Which I thought was also kind of funny. A little early. It'll take some time getting the counter timing down. Maybe once I finish this preliminary exploration segment, I'm gonna take a look at my folder a little bit. God, dude, the 3D models look so much better. It's kind of crazy. I just remember... Yeah, Jonathan, Charlotte. Yeah, I changed the voices to Japanese when I did that because it was getting on my nerves, but it's still like, Jonasan! And it's like, Sharato! It's fucking great. That game's great, dude. I like Portrait of Ruin a lot. Just having two different playable characters adds so much to the like dynamism of the gameplay. Is that a word, dynamism? I assume so. I guess I'll just heal up. Which I only have 110, so a little bit overkill, but... Oh, interesting, I'm not sliding on ice panels, though. Do these guys slide? No? Interesting. Can I talk to this dude? Dual attacks were cool, yeah. I really like that game a lot. Like, there's so many cool things in that. The main thing that bugged me was that the quests were like you had prerequisites and shit like that, and some of them were kind of, they were missable, you know? Freeze may still be a thing, so like using aqua chips on someone standing on ice. And I did start Fire Emblem 5, but I haven't played very much of it, so I can't really say much. I'll just say that it's like extremely refreshing playing what feels more traditional, which is funny because Thracia is not necessarily known for being traditional. It has some weird systems. that kind of laid the groundwork going forward. Like, rescue dropping was actually introduced in Thracia, not Binding Blade, which surprised me. Yeah, Thracia 776. And after Genealogy being the way that it is, Thracia is just like super fucking refreshing. Like, smaller scale maps, like all that kind of shit. Remember being so against the 3D transition. Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't like the, I still don't really like 3D models in DS games because they aged terribly compared to pixel art. But smoothing them out, like, they're still low poly, obviously, but the textures are smoothed out with this, whatever filter is on here. So it doesn't bother me as much. I'm curious to see the bosses, too. And the battle arena looks like a lot shorter than I remember it as well. Alright, I think that's all I can do on this end. I should save. It just occurred to me, I was like, I don't think I've saved at all. Can you not skip that? Save! It's so funny. Wait a second, so... Save! Shit's funny. Alright, so I already went... Damn, I wish I had a sneak run. I just want to try something real quick. Okay, so it has to be, like, directly diagonal then, I see. Oh, you can do it close range too? That's badass. Yeah, what was I saying about Thracia, though? Thracia, I kind of really like it so far, but I'm so early that I know a lot of the things people shit on it for are not as present. I mean, Fog of War is annoying in every Fire Emblem game that it's present, but like, the Fog of War didn't feel great in, was it Chapter 2X? It's a paralogue. But, like, I got through it fine. They give you some real juggernauts early on. Like, some pre-promotes that are really powerful. Although I know there's some kind of fatigue system that incentivizes you to not use units, like, chapter on chapter on chapter. You want to bench them. But I haven't gotten to the point where I can manually deploy yet. But, the main thing with Thracia is that, like, you're not really provided a lot of resources. You have to capture enemies, which you do by selecting the capture command, which basically, it lowers your attack. It, like, lowers your attack and probably accuracy or something like that. But if you kill an enemy when using capture, you bring them in as if you were rescuing someone in the GBA games. Or any game that has rescuing in it. And then what you can do is you can trade with them while they're rescued, so to speak, or captured, and take all their shit. And you can do that with bosses too, which is pretty cool. But that's how you get, like... Yeah, so that's how you get, like, a lot of your weapons and vulneraries and stuff like that. You're not really... Like, the only vendors I've found thus far only sell vulneraries. They don't sell weapons, from what I've seen so far. I'm on, like, chapter 3. I'm, like, super early. But I know there are Fog of War maps and some other maps later on that are, like, very obtuse or something. And I'm hoping it's something that I can pull through. But I guess we'll see. It's cool, though, and it has me, like... It's still tricky, because I feel like Thracia 776 partially because of its name, partially because of its nature of being a midquel to Genealogy, is I feel like that makes it a hard sell for a remake. Like Genealogy, I think that remake is inevitable. But then like when it comes to Thracia, it's like I do think mechanically that game deserves its own remake because it functions very differently from Genealogy, but at the same time it's like I don't know how you sell that. But then again, they sold a remake of Gaiden, which was like equally obtuse. As far as like how well people know it. So, I mean, who knows? It's just kind of like what I was saying about the Tellius games when I made that video of like, if they remade Path of Radiance, you need to remake Radiant Dawn. Like, you need to. You can't just remake Path of Radiance and then just port Radiant Dawn over or just ignore it, you know what I mean? Like, you have to do both. And so it's the same kind of thing with Genealogy, like less so because Thracia is a midquel, right? It's not a sequel. So like you could leave that gap open, I guess. But like the probability of Thracia getting a remake, just like with Radiant Dawn, kind of banks on the previous game's remake doing well. You know what I mean? I think Sigurd's prevalence in Engage, from what I've heard, probably has most Fire Emblem fans who aren't really like super into the older games maybe interested to see that story played out. And Genealogy is just highly regarded in general, especially in Japan, apparently. But Thracia is like, I just don't know. I'd love for it to get a remake as well, but it's just like, I'm hoping that, I mean, I'm sure that the devs have considered more than I have as, you know, just a fan of the games, but it's just an interesting kind of predicament in a way, I guess. And I guess Binding Blade and Blazing Blade are kind of the same way, aren't they? Sort of. Although Binding Blade has never been localized, Blazing Blade has, so I feel like they could get away with doing an FE6 remake eventually and then not doing FE7. They probably would, because FE7 is like a nostalgia boner for a lot of people, but, you know. The games that haven't been localized obviously take precedence. But I kind of selfishly want the Tellius games remade after they do, I want them to do Droog Troll, I want them to do Arcanea again, but like, properly this time. Particularly for the second act, or the second book of FE3, but then I want them to do Tellius. Like, I don't really care about Alib at all. I'd take it, I guess, but like, I don't really like love the GBA Fire Emblems like a lot of people do. They're solid though. It's just like, I don't know. Because I've thought about, since I'm kind of, have I gone in here yet? Yeah, dude, the Tellius games voice acted and shit would be so cool. And those games are already fantastic as is, so like I would settle for a remaster. It's just that Radiant Dawn has some stuff that like, it's mostly that game that I think needs changing in some ways and could use the remake. Path of Radiance less so. I need to be careful here so as to not take double damage. Yeah, fully voiced Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn would be so sick. Especially, well, like, because Radiant Dawn had, well, I guess they both had voice acting in the cutscenes, but it's fine, I guess. It's passable. But it's just really stiff. A lot of English voice acting from that era I'm just not really that fond of. And that includes some very iconic games, like even Persona 3. Like, the more I listen to that dub, the more I'm like the original dub, I'm like, I don't know, like some of them are kind of slaying, but like some of them are like really phoning it in. And so it's like, it's weird to me when people get so hung up on the voice actor change for the remake, because I'm like, I feel like it's just better. Especially for like Fuka. God damn. I love Fuka's new voice for P3 Reload. Whereas in the original, it's just like, it's just so flat. And that's why I played those games in Japanese, like just in general, is like, I don't think the dubs for the older Atlas games are that great. They're like, I mean, it's not that they're bad, it's just, I don't know. I'm just saying shit. It's just like when I was shit-talking Sea of Stars last stream, I think it was, or 2 streams ago or whatever. It's like, that game's not bad, it's just like... And I probably shouldn't have said what I said about it being like, you know, if you think the story's great, then have you really played a story-based JRPG? I don't think that's fair, per se, but... I don't know. It's like... I feel like there's this pressure or like this kind of this feeling you get when a game is getting more praise than you think it deserves. And it's like, who cares ultimately? Like, enjoy what you enjoy, but it's like when you like review a game and you don't think it's as good as the general consensus, there is this kind of voice in the back of your head, at least for me, where it's like wanting to downplay it more. But then typically when I make a video, I try to step back and be like, okay, I don't think it's actually as bad as blah, 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 or whatever. And I don't know, it's just it's kind of a complicated thing, I guess, but Radiant Dawn, when the Groundworks debut, the VA work was bringing out the hype. Bringing you out of the hype. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Oh, Soren, always lost in your books. And like shit like that. And the thing is, like, back to like dubs, you'll get like these meme-worthy lines which are great and stuff like that, and I respect it. Like Sonic Adventure 2 is like one that I always jump to. Like that game's entire script is so iconic to me, and like most of the interactions in that game are ingrained in my brain to the point where it would be jarring hearing anyone else voice those characters with a different delivery, even if I think that they could be delivered better, for sure. But that's the thing, is like I recognize that even though, hey, that's that blue hedgehog again of all places, I found you, faker, like that whole interaction is like ingrained in my brain in the way that it's sound and cadence and shit. But I do believe that whether it's those actors or a new set of voice actors came in, that they could do a better job. Just by virtue of the standards being a lot higher for voice acting these days. Although I will say that I just kind of find it's not like, the thing is, it's not an inherent, well, it's not an indictment on the English voice acting, but I do find a lot of Japanese very anime-centric stuff to feel kind of cringy when it's English voice acted. Whereas in Japanese, like, it just doesn't seem that way. But I don't know if that's because I don't speak Japanese, or if that's just because they take it more seriously, which they do, or some combination of the two, but it just... There's also an immersion factor when you play with Japanese voices for a Japanese game, especially when it's set in Japan. It just sounds a lot more natural, I guess. But then again, there are dubs that I like the Three Houses dub is really good. Fire Emblem generally is pretty good. I can't speak on Engage at all, though. I remember when the initial Engage reveal trailer dropped, I was like, oh, what are those horrible things? And I'm like, this is so fucking bad. like I didn't say it at the moment, because this was when I was doing like Nintendo Direct reactions, which I don't really do anymore, because I just don't... It's not really the type of content I want on my channel, TBH, but it's like... What's it? I just remember being like, yeah, I don't know if narratively this is really like... Or no, I made a comment where it was like, whenever they cut trailers for anime, quote-unquote games, like Japanese, very, you know, anime art style kinds of games, because there are Japanese games that go a little more photorealistic, even though they are very anime, like Devil May Cry, for instance, or something. I remember saying, like, whenever they cut trailers, it always sounds so cringy in that context. Whereas in the actual game itself, it can be better, and usually is. But then again, I thought I enjoyed like the Final Fantasy VII Remake dub, and a lot of people shit on that one, and I just don't really... The thing is, like, I think Final Fantasy is a lot campier than people give it credit for. Not credit, but like, I think some people who grew up with Final Fantasy view it more as being like uber serious, but like, no, that shit's campy. Like, it's good. I like campy shit. What the hell is that guy doing on the roof? I like campy shit. Like, Metal Gear and Resident Evil are very campy, but I really dig that. I really dig those games partially because of that. But Final Fantasy is kind of the same way. Like, it's kind of corny, but like, that's not really a derogatory kind of thing. And I think the voice actors kind of nailed that. Like, it's the melodrama, you know? But I like that shit. It's the same deal when people say, like, oh, you know, X series didn't used to be anime or whatever, and it's like, no, if you look at what 90s anime looked like and compare the art style of 90s anime to, like, old Mega 10 titles or old Final Fantasy titles, they look pretty comparable. I mean, Final Fantasy kind of had a very unique art style, though, but, like, for its portraits and shit, kind of, I don't know the term for it, but it almost looks like kind of classical, in a sense. On second thought, the VA work is pretty good. There's just some notable characters that make grate the ears after a while. In a Radiant Dawn, you mean? Yeah, I mean, like, Radiant Dawn's one of those games, too, where, like, some of the voice lines are so infamous. Like, is that the Dawn Brigade? Oh, it's just a Boyd. Like, oh, and Engage? Okay, yeah, I could definitely see that happening, yeah. Because, like, Three Houses, I thought the dub was really generally very good. There were some characters that were a little bit flatter. Like, Ingrid, for instance, comes to mind, where I'm like, not as sold on it. But a lot of it was fantastically done, I thought. Still haven't played Engage, though. I need to play Thracia and finish that. And then it's like, I need to figure out when I'm gonna play Three Houses, because that's gonna be a big time sink. Can't get any more Japanese than Yakuza. And those games didn't even have English voice acting. Or maybe still don't, right? Like, they're Japanese only for the voice acting. Well, except for when Americans show up at, like, the... Can you tell me how to get to the station? Like, that meme and shit like that. But, like, it really is, like, that over-the-top nature that can be seen as kind of cheesy or corny that I like about Japanese media, though. You know? And, like, it's not that Japanese media can't get genuinely serious, too. But, like, when you really step back and look at it, it is, like, very exaggerated. Which I think doesn't maybe necessarily come across as well in English. Especially because localizers tend to take a lot of liberties, I think. Have I not looked at enough transers yet? I feel like I'm just meandering around. Or wait, can I... Oh no, I have to wave change. Maybe the old man I didn't check? Is there anyone over here that I missed? There's a green... Oh, I like that you can see the mystery datas without having to jack in first. That's kind of cool. Original release for the first 2 games on PS2 have English VAs. Oh, they did. Interesting. And then Yakuza 7 to now we have English VAs. Okay, okay, okay. Except for Ishin. Gotcha. So like 3 through 6 and 0 and like Judgment and stuff like that, like all have just Japanese only. Huh. Yeah, I mean, that's famously a series I keep saying that I haven't really gotten invested in, but I'm curious to learn more about it. It's just like, shit, man, there's so many games. And the fact that they're all connected, it's just so overwhelming compared to something like Final Fantasy or Fire Emblem, where it's like you can kind of jump around a little more easily. Okay, I already looked at this chick. Thought it was the pointy-headed dude, not this guy, right? Already looked at this guy. Yeah, he's the bird boy. Has the VAs too. Okay. I don't know why I always assumed that it was just Japanese only for those games. But yeah, I mean, that's all to say. I'm not trying to be like an elitist about not trying to be an elitist about voice acting, like subs versus dubs and shit. It's just like I just kind of feel like dubs often don't translate kind of the vibe as well as the original voice, whatever that might be, whether it's Japanese or not. Why do I feel like this is a... Why do I feel like that's a jack-in point? Glad Atelier was divided into Trilogy. Is much easier to consume. Yeah, 15 games initially is overwhelming. I'll get into... I mean, I'll get into Yakuza eventually. I just need to find the right window to do so and just take it one game at a time. Oh yeah, I think I did skip this guy, didn't I? Okay, here we go. There's special exceptions out there for the English. Yeah, I mean for sure. It's usually an exception though. Ever since this morning, I felt the presence of... Okay. In a comp space somewhere? Okay. This tutorial's a little grating. I feel like I know where it's gonna be though. I'm in luck? How so? I feel like it's either this one or the one in the other area. Like next to the train. Oh no, it is this one. Same. It's like, dude, that for some reason it reminds me of those Squidward memes where they like vocode. Like, oh, they have it. Glizzy. And like shit like that. It's so fucking funny. I love that shit. So stupid. Okay. Jammer. He's jamming, man. Piece of cake. Yu Yu Hakusho and Full Metal Alchemist will always slap for you in English. Yeah, I watched yeah, Dragon Ball, like, that's one of those, like, Kill la Kill was kind of the same way, where it's like, it's so over the top with Dragon Ball, where I feel like the dub, like, is able to capture that kind of, like, because Dragon Ball's kind of trying to be somewhat of a parody or exaggeration of shonen tropes, right? While also kind of establishing a lot of them. But it's like, yeah, like I think the Dragon Ball dub is, like, it's iconic. And it captures the tone properly. Whereas I feel like a lot of dubs of anime that are trying to be maybe more serious than Dragon Ball and less over the top, I feel like you still get that over the top delivery where it's supposed to be more subtle, kind of. Does that make sense? Because I love a lot of the iconic moments in Dragon Ball for that, like, over the top shit. Love it. But like Naruto, for instance, which I absolutely adore, like the manga story of Naruto, which basically, I've not read the manga, but I watched the anime, like specifically the non-filler shit, essentially, skipping over that. But that show, like, I can't do the dub. Like, there's some voices in Naruto that are good in the dub, but like, yeah, but I think you're right. I don't think parody is quite the right word, but it's like, it's that like really exaggerated kind of machismo, you know? Like, I wouldn't necessarily call Dragon Ball like a super subtle show, at least as far as its presentation and stuff like that. Like, it is very bombastic and stuff like that. And so I think that's why the exaggerated... I think the best way to put it is I think that a lot of anime dubs, they just like are going... Either they're half-assing it and it sounds like they're disinterested, or they're doing like too much. Which is weird because I feel like the Japanese voices like tend to go for it a little bit more, but it just... I don't know. I've never really thought through my stance on subs versus dubs. I'm just like kind of riffing. Just knows what it is and the voice actors have fun with it. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. Oh shit. Fucking decked him. I'm gonna actually take a look at my folder, like I keep saying I'm gonna do. Don't mind Naruto's English Bleach too. I don't know that I've really given much of Bleach's dub a listen. I'm trying to think. I bet they're fine. It's just like it's Naruto's voice actor in particular that bugs me in Naruto. Like everyone else is like fine, but I don't like the believe it thing. That's the main thing. I think it's kind of cringy, for lack of a better term. One Piece I haven't dabbled with though, but yeah, I don't like the believe it thing. I find it kind of cringy. I like Datebayo is just like, I don't know. It just makes more sense and it doesn't really translate to believe it, and I'm being very nitpicky about it, but it's like, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's just like in Persona when they mispronounce the last names intentionally, and I'm just like, Japanese game about Japanese people in Japan. They could at least pronounce the last names accurately, even if it's like. I explained that in my Persona 4 Arena Ultimax video. It's like, it's a surname. It's not like it's a localization thing, you know? Started One Piece with the dub, had to transition to Japanese once you watched all the dub episodes. Oh, yeah, because it's only dubbed up to a certain point, right? That's another thing. And that's part of the reason why I should probably just switch to reading manga, but I just haven't. I haven't really been watching anime lately either. I watched quite a few anime that I hadn't seen at the beginning of the year, but just like I haven't watched anything. Well, no, actually, I watched most of season 1 of Vinland Saga with my buds fairly recently. But other than that, I've not been watching anime by myself much. Dub is catching up now. All you watch is One Piece. I mean, that's you kind of have to commit to One Piece, right, at this point, if you want to catch up. See, for me, it's like the same thing with video games where I get paralyzed by anime because I want to go back and watch all the greats. And I've seen a lot of the standouts: Cowboy Bebop, Full Metal Alchemist, fucking Naruto, Bleach. Even though people will, you know, question the quality of those shows, I generally enjoyed them. They just suffer from early 2000s anime shonen stuff, like pacing, because of like the recaps and the flashbacks being repeated constantly. But if you took that out and actually look at what the story is like, actually, without all the filler stuff, as I say filler loosely, I'm not just saying like filler arcs. I just mean like the flashbacks being shown like every episode and the recaps and shit. You cut that out, it becomes a much more interesting experience. There's a lot of people don't want to have to manually skip through that stuff if they don't want to watch it, which I can understand. But there are fan cuts of Naruto and Bleach that cut a lot of that shit and make it a lot more watchable. I haven't watched those versions though yet. I have them on my hard drive just in case, but caught up for a few years now. Shocked by how quick the dub caught up for episode 1000. Other notable events. TV production was different 20 years ago. Right. Yeah, totally. No, totally. It definitely is a product of the time, of like how the show was structured and how, you know, they would have a season on, but then they would run out of manga stuff to adapt. And then instead of taking a break, they would just do a filler arc to like keep it running and keep interest going for it. And so, yeah, I guess you can assume that it's kids who go back and watch those shows and they're like, there's too much filler or whatever. And it's like, yeah, the filler stuff, feel free to skip it, but like the stuff that is baked into the episode is hard to ignore. But I don't really factor that in when I think about my experience watching those shows, because I was more invested in what was actually happening, you know? So that's why I consider myself to be more of a manga fan of Naruto and Bleach than the actual what was syndicated of the anime, even though I like the anime adaptation, but just specifically of what was present in the manga more so. From what I understand as someone who has not read the manga, which makes me a poser, I get it, but I'm just saying. I like the core of the story and events and fights and shit like that in both of those shows. It's sick. It's like there's so many Yeah, because ratings were still the rave. Yes, facts. So they would just make those fillers to keep up the ratings rather than wait for more material. Exactly, because they didn't want to risk having it like fade from the public consciousness and then try to bring it back, and then it's like, oh, we're already past that. You know, we're watching this show now because you stopped, kind of deal. And the market wasn't as saturated back then too, so I think they felt more pressure to keep doing that. Although weirdly, you would think there'd be more pressure now, but like Boruto took a break, and the Boruto anime only stuff is. I watched a lot of the anime only stuff for Boruto, and I was like, I don't know. But the manga stuff was kind of sick. Not as good as the peaks from Shippuden or anything, but like I thought it was pretty enjoyable. Decently. It's just the anime-isms and the filler and shit. I've not watched Bleach Thousand Year Blood War yet. I need to. Those old ass animes still hold a special place for you. Yeah, I didn't watch them in full until like the past couple of years, really. But I was, those shows were like iconic when I was growing up. So I was familiar with Naruto and Bleach. I just didn't really like watch them religiously. Yeah, Boruto's anime is it's pretty rough, but I like the manga shit fine enough. It's like fine. I can take it or leave it, really. Kawaki's cool. That's like the main thing I can say. But I don't know. Like, this gets into the conversation of like, I don't get when people are like, oh, if a show that I grew up with continues or gets a new season or gets a reboot or a remake and it's not as good or I don't like it as much, then it ruins stuff retroactively. And I'm like, I don't agree with that. Like, I watched this video recently about a rumored Ocarina of Time remake, which I think is odd because they remade it already on 3DS. Granted, that was 10 years ago, but I don't know that they would remake it again, per se. I'd take it, but like... And then I saw like some comments that were like, oh, if they remade it and it was bad, or if it was open world, then it would ruin my memories of... And I'm like, wow, why would it ruin your memories of the original game? Also, just go play the original game, for fuck's sake, again, like, if you miss it so badly. That's one of those things I can't relate to when it comes to emulation. It's like, oh, I miss this game, they should bring it to modern platforms, and I agree that it should be available officially, but you could emulate it and play it right now, you know? Please watch Thousand Year Blood War. Don't get me in a call talking about Bleach, you may regret it. One of your top favorites ever. Yeah, I need to check it out. They're doing like 4, isn't it like 2-part seasons or something? And they're like halfway done. So whenever it finishes, I'll just binge it. Because I was that's part of the reason why I watched pretty much all of Bleach, all of the non-filler stuff from Bleach, leading up to Thousand Year Blood War's release, because I wanted to be caught up. Alright, we go to bed now. Yeah, no, I know Thousand Year Blood War gets fucking crazy, though. No, I meant to save, but it's fine. And then, like, before I get into One Piece, I need to watch, like, some of the other classics first that are shorter. I guess I could watch One Piece as, like an ongoing thing, kind of like I do with games, where I usually have, like, a longer game, and then I'm playing shorter stuff, kind of, as I chip away at these longer games. But I just need to get back into an anime mood. I haven't really been in that vibe as of late. Oh, interesting. So Taurus is destroying red stuff, like the whole like bulls don't like red kind of thing, even though it's the movement of the capote or whatever it's called that gets them riled up. It's funny though. I'm ready for a boss fight, though. Email. See, the last filler back then for Bleach, quality-wise, was pretty damn good. Was that the one where they all fight each other? Or am I thinking of something else? I'm trying to remember. Because I know, like, the first filler arc was, like, the Bount arc. And then it was, like, all of the, Hueco Mundo stuff, basically. And then after that, dude, it hasn't been that long, but I'm just, like, I'm totally blanking. Should go up to Vista Point, okay. I want to say, I feel like there was some kind of vacation or like beach one during the Hueco Mundo arc, which must have been pretty frustrating watching it back in the day, having that interrupted. But I know I think there was a filler arc or something where all the captains or whatever like fought each other or something, the big battle royale kind of deal. Haven't really been compelled to look at new stuff either. Most of the stuff you've been watching are just revivals of old stuff and whatever's continuing. Yeah, I think that's fair. I tend to see, the thing is, I like for a show to be like done. Is the one where they basically fight clones of themselves. Okay, interesting. I might have to go back and check that out then. What's it? If like a season 1 of an anime comes out and it's like, oh, it's amazing, but then you hear so many times season 2 comes out and it's dog shit or just like whatever. Not even dog shit. It could just be mid or like whatever. And then at that point, I just don't really feel compelled to watch any of it. TBH, like, I'd rather wait for it to be finished, know that the entire product is good, or at least, you know, the highs outweigh the lows, and go into it that way. The beach episode was from a cover page. Okay, interesting. Yeah, and they're really taking their time to set everything up. It's probably worth it, though. Like, that's the thing, is I don't really mind. I don't mind the slow burn in games, or even shows to an extent, but usually it's very vibe based for me, which I've said in the past. It's like if I'm digging the vibe of a show or a game or whatever, then even if it is kind of slow going, at least if I know that it gets better or have a feeling that it will, then I don't really have a problem with it, with like sticking with it, you know. Fillers in order of the bounce. Shusuke Amagi. Shusuke Amagi. Would that have been like between Soul Society and Hueco Mundo or something? Or no, that was Bounce, wasn't it? I actually don't remember. Damn it. Zanpakuto filler and the Rai guy. Or Ray guy. And then whatever else they just put out to break up the episodes. Okay. Yeah, I'm like slightly more familiar with Bleach's filler than Naruto's, where like Naruto's I just completely just don't care, honestly. I know some people say it's good, but it's like, dude, pre-time skip Naruto, like half of the episodes, if not more, are filler. Like they're not relevant to the story. And you know what I hate is people who you'll see in like comment sections or on forums or whatever that are like, oh, you skipped the filler? You're not a real fan. You didn't really watch the show. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, it's literally filler for a reason. It's not relevant. It's not a part of the overarching story. It is like deliberately designed to not connect to the overarching story. So that way it doesn't cut people, like, it's so dumb, dude. Fucking gatekeeping elitists and shit. It's fucking annoying. And that's why I say, like, think of me more of a manga fan as opposed to an anime fan when it comes to, like, the big shonen. Because I don't really care about the anime exclusive shit. I just like seeing it fully animated and voice acted and with music and shit. That's why I wish that Berserk would get a good anime adaptation. Because I'm not really a manga reader. But again, I probably just should do that for most stuff. Second one came in between the end of Grimmjow. That's right. Okay, yeah, between Grimmjow fight to when the captains came to help Ichigo. Dude, that shit was hype. When like Kenpachi and those guys show up in Hueco Mundo, that shit fucking slaps. Although their fight against was it Kenpachi and Byakuya against Yami? I wish that fight didn't get cut short. That was like kind of the unfortunate thing. At least from what I recall, it felt like it kind of got cut short. Dude, we're so far in the future that like 10-year-olds can drive. Dude, Geo, you're fast as fuck, boy. The hell? Run faster. The only Naruto filler you liked was with the Kakashi's face one. Yeah, that one, I remember people hyping that one up. That one was funny, like cute little side story, but like, I don't know. It was alright. But I really, for most of the filler stuff with Naruto where it was like full arcs, I just wanted to get to like the next actual story beat, you know? Because that show's long enough as it is without, well, even with skipping filler arcs and shit. Not sure if you're making a Persona comparison, but how Bud gets manipulated is sort of like the Palace version of the bad guys. Yeah, like kind of. Like this game especially, like you don't fuse with your Persona. I think that'd be kind of cool, honestly. Maybe that'll be a Persona 6 thing, but it's kind of similar. Like Mega is like Gio's Persona in a sense, and like you have the social sim elements of like your brothers, which are like your social links or your confidants or whatever you want to call them. It's very similar structurally, just because it pulls a lot from anime as well. Because a lot of anime is kind of structured video game-esque, sort of. Where it's like you have the build-up, you're fighting grunts, and then eventually you get to the boss, right? love you some Kenny. Always a savage. Mayuri is just a sick bastard and you love him. Need I say more about Byakuya? Yeah, dude. Bleach has some fucking fire character designs and like powers and shit. Like I fucking love that shit. It's great. But at the same time, I could totally understand someone not wanting to put up with like the structure of it. I get that. Must be a way to stop that truck. Oh, they have a nighttime background? That's nice. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't even know where the fucking truck is, though. But going back to Naruto though, I'm looking forward to Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections, like how they're compiling all of them into one. I think that's kind of sick. I don't know if I talked about that already. I like the Ultimate Ninja Storm games. They're fun. And it was cool, like, re-experiencing the story again, but, like, the big beats, you know, like, the stuff that matters mostly. It's one of those things where it's, like, it's not a replacement, but it is a nice compliment, I think. And so, like, if Connections can, like, particularly tell the pre-time skip stuff better than Storm 1, because Storm 1's story is, like, they kind of brush past it a lot of the time, in favor of being able to explore Konoha. But like, I don't know, just the idea of having the full Naruto story in game form in like one singular executable is really cool to me. And that comes out, doesn't that come out like any day now? I want to say it's like the 16th or something it drops, no? What's today? The 13th? Drink water. Not too crazy about getting it right away. I mean, I'm not going to get it for full price. I'm going to wait for a sale, but... But I am looking forward to playing it eventually. And those games tend to go on sale pretty often, too. That's how I got the original 4. I wonder, reviews are probably out for that already, I bet. But it's probably not going to do too great review-wise, because a lot of video game reviewers, like, at the big sites, I feel like aren't typically, like, that big. I don't know, that's a whole thing. You know how games journalists are, typically. All of the conceptions and stuff like that of them, these days at least. I used to actually have quite a bit of respect for a lot of game journos, like 10 plus years ago at this point, maybe 15 more like. But that's more so because that was the main outlet, and really maybe even only outlet to get video game opinions for the most part. You had some early YouTube stuff for sure, but like, I felt like YouTube stuff didn't feel as reputable, I feel like, back then, in a sense. It was more like played for laughs. And plus, my parents didn't like me going on YouTube when I was like super young either. I mean, I was like 10 or something when it came out, but I didn't really go on it unless I was at like friends' houses and shit like that. Oh, the woes of being sheltered. You'll be able to play all the boss battles from the previous games. That's so sick, dude. I know that they're not like the deepest fighting games ever, but I really like just the idea. See, like Naruto, like I was saying, I didn't watch it in full when I was a kid. Like, I wasn't really, like... It was one of those things that my parents probably didn't want me watching for one reason or another. Anyway, I mean, they didn't like me watching Cartoon Network, for fuck's sake, a lot of the time. So I stuck mostly, like, Nickelodeon, but... Nick had some good stuff anyway. But anyway, the what the fuck am I supposed to do? Didn't have Wi-Fi until junior year of high school. Jeez. I mean, I guess that's not... Like, nowadays, that would be crazy. I feel like it's not as crazy if you think about it in the context of, like, 10, 15 years ago or whatever, but... What was I saying about, Oh yeah, despite me not, like, really fully growing up with Naruto, even though it was, like... It was, like, in the sphere of, like, kids that I grew up with were really into it and shit. It was popular. When I watched it in full, like, towards the start of the pandemic, I remember vibing with it, and it's like, this is such like an early 2000s vibe, and I fucking love it for that. And Bleach is kind of the same way, too. I know I need to go into a comp or something. But, like... Let me check in here. But... Like, just, like, it felt like something that I had grown up with, even if I didn't really... Like, fully. You know? Like, I absorbed some of it, I absorbed some of it, like, just, you know, by being around people who were into it, but... And, like, watching clips and stuff on YouTube when I was able to and shit like that, but... I just wasn't really much of an anime watcher growing up. Weirdly enough. Like, of course, I'm, like, familiar... I was familiar with, like, Dragon Ball and shit like that, but I didn't really, like, soak it in until later. I still haven't adjusted my folder. God damn it. But it's the same reason why, like, a lot of M-rated games I'm getting into now, or not now, but, like, within the past 10 years, a little bit less than 10 years, because my parents didn't let me get, like, buy any M-rated games until I was actually 17, which was 10 years ago. So, it's like, once I got an Xbox One, so I could play, like, Mass Effect and Batman Arkham and Bioshock and, like, all these games that I had mostly missed. Like, I'd played a little bit of Bioshock on PC, but... And that's why it took me so long to get into, like, Persona, and... Final Fantasy was more so because it just wasn't on Nintendo systems. Can't tell you how many R-rated movies and raunch comedies you watched as a kid. 90s, early 2000s were unhinged with anime. Yeah, I think it's good to, like, you know, respect... I mean, I'm not a parent. I'm not planning to be a parent anytime soon at all. But it's like, I think it's good to respect your kids as, like, human beings and kind of, like, understand and, like, kind of encourage curiosity in things to a point. I think having boundaries is a good thing, as far as, like, what they are and aren't allowed to watch or play. But at the same time, like, I was going over to my friends' houses and playing, like, Halo 3 and Modern Warfare 2 and shit, and, like, I wasn't thinking, like, wow, shooting things is really cool and I should do that in real life. It's like, no, it's clearly fictional. And second of all, I've never really found Call of Duty or Halo, the multiplayer, to feel particularly violent anyway. Like, it's not like body parts are flying all over the place and shit. It's like not, it's really, like, pretty tame in the grand scheme of, like, violence and gore. But maybe I'm just desensitized, I don't know. As far as fictional violence and whatnot. Like, watching that, stuff like that IRL is, like, totally different ballgame. Your dad's the reason you're the way you are now. Your mom didn't like it too much, but you got away with it. That sounds like it's probably a pretty common deal, although it's usually, like, one parent or the other is more lenient than the others. Just kind of depends. I think my mom was probably more lenient than my dad, primarily, but... Your dad was just as big of a nerd as you. Yeah, I kinda envy that to a point. I feel like like my dad's never really like, not to like armchair psychiatry kind of deal, but like it's like, I feel like my dad's never really like cared too much about what I've been into, aside from like a cursory glance. You know, like he was a gamer back in like the Atari days. Like he had the early Atari systems. He went to arcades. He played D&D. You know, back in like the like the 80s or whatever. But like, I don't know. It's so hard to get. I feel like it's hard to get people from my parents' generation to like fully kind of understand games unless they've kind of kept up with it. Because, you know, you think about like even an NES controller, let alone like an Atari joystick or something like that, and you compare it to like this with like all the triggers and the bumpers and the clicking and like there's so many buttons and stuff to manage that I'm not surprised that it's overwhelming, but it's like, and it's not like they have to play the games necessarily, but it's like, it's one of those things where I kind of wish that like, I kind of wish my dad was like, hey, you know, have you been playing anything cool recently? Like kind of being more involved in that way, specifically when I was growing up. But it's like, I don't know, it's a whole thing. I don't need to get into it. It's like personal shit, but it's like, it's just one of those things where I do envy people in a sense that when they had parents growing up that were like very involved in the stuff that they were into, kind of deal. I think that's cool. Being able to kind of talk shop with the older generation, as it were. But at the same time, it's like I've got peers that I can talk to about this stuff. Like y'all, I've got, you know, IRL friends that I made in college, for instance, that are into video games to certain degrees. Although even then, I tend to like kind of hold my tongue because I have so much to say, you know? Parents or siblings, yeah. You're the only ones into video games and anime, your siblings didn't get into it. That's the other thing too, like my sister did play games alongside me, but I don't know that she ever got into it as much. I was kind of a system hog, which I look back on it and I'm like, I should probably pay attention to this. If you lose your balance 3 times, you'll fall off the bowl, so make sure you press the buttons. Okay. Like, my sister's mentioned wanting to get back into video games. She has a Switch. But, like, she just, I guess, hasn't been able to find the time or, like, the right style of games, I guess. What the fuck was that? Oh, I see. I was like, what direction do I press? But I really like the thought of, and I will give recommendations to people, it's just they don't take them, because, like, usually it's because they're too busy, or, like, you know, have other entertainment stuff that they'd rather do instead. Oh, that was a longsword, whoops. Yeah, like my sister had basically the same setup as I did growing up. Game Boy Advance SP and a Nintendo DS. And then once we got past the DS generation, and like we would play like multiplayer GameCube and Wii stuff, obviously. But once, like, she didn't get a 3DS, she didn't really have any interest in the Wii U, which, you know, can you blame her? Like, can you blame anyone for not being interested in the Wii U, TBH? Great library, but, like, come on, man. But like she'll like humor me and listen to what I have to say about it now, so that's cool at least. Just funny to you to have your kid brothers asking you about this kind of stuff now. It got you feeling old. That's cool though. I mean, like, I've got, like, some of my cousins are younger, but I'm not, like, super close with... I'm just, like, not super close with my extended family to, like, really reach out, but it's, like, I'm sure that some of my younger cousins are into video games and stuff like that, because it's just, like, a much more common hobby. I guess what you could say is the problem... I'm getting my ass kicked. The problem, I guess you could say, is that it tends to just be, like, I play Fortnite, or I play, like, singular game here. Usually it's Fortnite, right? As opposed to being interested in, like, diverse experiences, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like the younger generation... Like, we kind of grew up into, like, the Xbox Live era, which I didn't really get to experience. I'm not really much of a multiplayer gamer in general. But, like... But I'm just gonna pulse out and pulse back in. I'm not gonna use my healing items just yet. But I feel like the younger generation now... Oh, obviously my health is still the same because I didn't fully pulse out. Fine. Fine, I'll use, I'll just use my smalls for now. But, what was I saying? I feel like the younger generation is like... They primarily play games for the social element and, like, the multiplayer element. And, like, that's how they hang out with their friends. Whereas for me, I know, like gaming has always been, like, more of an isolated thing, but I kind of like it that way. I'm just, like, not a super social person. Like, I'm just very introverted and, like, don't really feel like I require much social interaction to feel, like, sane. I could probably stand to get more than I do currently, but it's like, it doesn't feel, like, particularly pressing, I guess. I don't know, I just really like my alone time. And kind of prefer that, like, especially when it comes to gaming. And when it comes to, like, chilling out for the night, or, like, getting lost in a world or a story. I just like doing that on my own. I wouldn't be against sharing it with someone. Kind of deal. Like, if I had a partner, or a friend, or sibling, or whatever, whoever it might be, who wanted to, like, you know, watch me play or whatever, like, that's fine. But I still need to be, like, able to get immersed, I guess. In a sense, which... I know, like, some people tend to, you know, like to make comments and stuff like that when you're watching a show or a movie or a game. And it's like, I'm usually pretty silent unless I'm explaining something to someone. Your siblings asked to play Mario Kart despite the massive skill gap. They have multiplayer games that you play solo, plus a bunch of single-player games. I mean, I've dabbled with multiplayer stuff before, but it's not like first-person shooters, like people tend to draw towards. In fact, first-person shooters are one of those genres that just never really clicked with me. Like, I can enjoy a game that has first-person shooting, but even something like Doom Eternal, which I can recognize is really well made, I played like I've had like 9 hours of it or something, a healthy amount, and enjoyed it, but then I just kind of fell off. I was just kind of like, I don't really care about what's happening here, kind of thing. Okay, so these are white cards. I kind of want to just completely redo my folder, as I tend to do with Battle Network. Let's put this on the main screen. But, like, what multiplayer games have I gotten into? Like, Hearthstone I was big into for a while, for a few years. I was big on that. I hit Legend once. With, I think it was like a Murloc Paladin. It was like a mix between Murloc Paladin and Secret Paladin, but it wasn't when those archetypes were cancerous. It was around that time where they were getting there, but they weren't... Like, Secret Paladin, I think, had passed its cancerous phase. But I think I ran a couple secrets, but it was primarily Murloc Paladin, but that was before it got, like, super crazy, I think. Trying to get your little sister to play Stardew Valley when you were really into it. Didn't interest her, despite being pretty simple. She'll play Minecraft with you. That's cool, though. Yeah. Like, Minecraft's another game where, like, I didn't really get into it because it's just kind of... In my opinion, I find Minecraft kind of boring, single player. I think with friends, it could be a lot of fun, for sure. I get that. But not really an experience I want to have solo, TBH. Just never really clicked with me. We'll take these, I'll take these, I'll take this. Now... What's the deal with this? Oh, so the star power up, plus 10 attack and paralyze. Wow. We take those. Power bomb. If hits, spread damage to panels in a plus shape. That's very powerful. Tailburner attacks 3 squares ahead with a flamethrower. Okay. We'll take those to pair with a grass stage. Little double-edged sword against Taurus, though. The Mega Man X Minecraft collab. Interesting. I didn't even know they had a collab. I'm not surprised, but... You never played Minecraft, just only with the Mega Man crossover stuff? We'll try Fire Ring. How many slots do I have? 12. Are there program advances in this game? Or not? Might be a Switch thing. Yeah, I think certain platforms did have exclusive crossovers and shit like that. Shower nearest enemies row with ice. Okay. Heat ball. Missile attack targets. Okay. Air spread, Gatling, 4-shot. Knocks enemy way back. We'll try this out. Like the plasma guns. 3-shot attack, spread damage. I mean, if we get attack plus 10s on these are pretty nice. No PAs? Okay. In that case, I'm not going to bother with regular swords, because that shit seems kind of shit. Let's see, I'll take another wide and long sword. 4 more. Maybe I'll take more just because lock-on is pretty powerful. How many barriers do I have? 1. Maybe I'll take a second just to experiment a little bit. Maybe actually... Three wide swords, 3 long swords, ground wave, power bomb. I feel like this is kind of a poor man's tail burner. I mean, this might hit the back row though, because there. Forget how many rows are there? There are 4 in front of you, or 5. I think it's 4. So this wouldn't reach the back row, but I could lock on, so it's like 3 recovery 30s. I like that just for healing in between mobs and not having to use sub chips. Not that they're called sub chips in this game, but absorbs 10 HP. A more accurate description would be like disappears after 10 HP worth of damage, but it does absorb more. It'll absorb overkill, right? Just like in BN. It's like a free hit, basically. I kind of want to just go with air spread, 2 of them. Let's do that. And then as far as favorites are concerned, I think definitely like the most powerful chips, right? Or ones with synergy. I kind of like this. Like, let me see what's... The attack plus 10s and the paralyzed pluses are white chips already. I like this being a favorite. Maybe a recovery 30 just to guarantee synergy every so often, and maybe a barrier. I'm gonna have to experiment. I don't know, like... I'm just not as familiar with these games as I am with, Battle Network. Same. This is chill, though. I'm digging it. Personal. Mega. That's just too funny. Brother. Mega. Mega. Like, it's so stupid. That's great. Equip weapon. Okay. Is there a program, or not program advance, is there like a Navicust equivalent in this game? So like an F-Zero X announcer. F-Zero X, still not one that I've played, but that's because I don't really keep a N64 emulator in my... I need to pay attention. I don't really keep an N64 emulator installed. Although I could play it on Dolphin with like the Virtual Console equivalent, which is how I have some other N64 games hooked up. And yeah, and speaking of F-Zero, I haven't played GX much, but that game's already kind of become, like, just by default, one of my favorite GameCube games, just by virtue of it being so unique, in a sense. Like, I haven't played it much lately, but it's gonna stay installed. Because I'm one of those players that, like, if I play a game and I'm, like, kind of, not even just whatever about it, but it's like I won't play this again, or at least for a while, I'll uninstall it, even though I've got plenty of hard drive space. Just because I like looking at my emulator lineup and being like, these are my favorite GameCube games and Wii games, or whatever. And then I'll like put tags on ones that I haven't played and tag them as like backlog or like whatever it might be. You want to say a Navicust system comes in Star Force 2? You have Buster parts in Star Force 1 and 2, so like different weapons to equip and shit. So I was like, there's definitely a way to amp up your charge shot damage. There has to be. Calling it Navicust is a bit of a stretch. No, I bet it's not as complex, but I was just wondering if there's a way to, like, modify that kind of stuff. I'm gonna need to give this OST a listen later. Or Tetra keys, Tetra codes. Battle Network 3? Let's test out this new boulder some. I'm still getting used to the battle system. I'm not like entirely... Well, this goes in a plus pattern. Wow, what the fuck? I don't know why that didn't work. You can really get yourself cornered in this, though, can't you? Nice. HP Mem. We got our first rock cube. I want to see how this works. A lot of the end post game variations can corner you real quick. I believe it. Wait, how does that work? Missile attack targets non-element enemies. Oh. So they specifically have to be non-elemental. That seems like kind of bad. Does that seem like kind of bad to you? This seems kind of bad to me. Yeah, I guess it's a solid screen wipe for, like, mobs. But against bosses, like, most bosses have an element, so that's, like... It's like a dead card. Which, like, it's okay to have niche cards in your folder, but, like... I don't know if I'm sold on it. Do you have anything else that I want to put here? Power Bomb seems pretty powerful. Okay, we got a Tetra Key. I definitely want to keep taking the Red Bulls, because it'll take me further to get more Tetra Keys. And then I ride the blue ones that have been deactivated to get back. Oops. One more? No? Sweet. If only dead cards could have a use. Are you hinting at something? Is there... Are you actually lamenting, or are you saying there's gonna be something later on? How do you touch the screen? I can use my mouse. I'm sure there's a way to do it without, like, I could map, like, click to, like, left stick or something, and that might work. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. That's why I really like Battle Network 3's system in particular. I guess 2 and 3, where you can add chips. And so you can just kind of like toss ones. I keep missing the symbols. So you can essentially just like build like... You know how add works in BN 2 and 3. I don't need to explain it. But that's a good use of, like, cards that, or chips that you don't need. And then I guess in 4, 5, and 6, it's more about synergy. You always want to have a deck that has synergy. Whether that be, like, sacrificing for a double soul, or having some use with a cross, or, like, whatever it might be. I'm just like a little bit slow on the timing on these. But I also got to keep in mind, I don't want to be too critical of this game's like gameplay, because if you compare this to Battle Network 1, I mean, there's just like so much that they learned from Battle Network in general. I can't... Where was the symbol? I didn't see it. Never thought about custom programs in the context of Star Force. How do you mean? Dude, I love just being able to press the D-pad for this. I'm assuming that was not the case. Like, this is a DX thing. Because they're not always in the same location, so I bet touchscreen was intended. Oh, you're not playing the game as it was intended. Wow. Like, dude, don't you just love that there are people out there who will say shit like that? I'm just like, it's better this way without the touchscreen stuff. I don't give a shit. Like using more cards per turn. I am using the D-pad. You just press like diagonally in whatever direction. It's sick. Sick. No, it seems like this DX patch is like more OP than I had initially thought, but I'll take it. Definitely DX quality of life changes, yeah. That's what I kind of figured. Oh, we got a like a super enemy out here. We got a nice chip from the last one. What do you think? This hits 4 times, right? So this will kill. Maybe I'll get the chip from him. Nah, just money. Star frag. That's a good chunk of change, though. 340 is, like... Saving. Save. Dude, I keep holding B like it's gonna run. Was that a thing in the vanilla game? Was the run button a thing and they just got rid of that? Eep. He's freaking huge. That's what she said. Guess you're experiencing the DX patch along with me. Auto run was a thing? Okay. Star frags were not, though? Interesting. I know the intention with this patch was to, like, make it more in line with 2 and 3. I think was the main thing. Like, quality of life-wise. Like, the Star Force 2 patch primarily just lowers the encounter rate. Because apparently it's heinous. You don't remember Star Frags? Well, I guess we'll rediscover it together, because I have not the slightest idea. I'm guessing they function like bug frags, like you use them at certain vendors and shit, but... Pretty cool. Dude, the bosses look kind of sick, though. I mean, it could have been something they implemented for, I guess it's better to have this, right? Well, that was easy. Maybe Legend mode was the way to go, I don't know. We get the chip off the bat? Is that because I S-ranked? Maybe not, but like, Battle Network, you obviously need to rematch them usually. Time to skedaddle. I'm here for it. Shit slaps. Mega Man. It's so funny. It's like Peter Parker calling himself Spider-Man when he was like, 15 or whatever. However old he is canonically whenever he gets bit. Usually he's pretty young, right? Yeah, the hero theme, like, that's one of those things that clicked when I heard it on the title screen. I was like, wait, I recognize that. Like, very clearly. Music, though, yeah, dude. Can I just say the story in this game is already better than BN6's? Don't tell anyone I said that. Dude, like... Dude, BN6's story is just like... I don't know. You guys heard me talk about it when I was streaming it. I'm just like... BN6's story is kind of doo-doo until like the very end, when it ties things together. This is already more interesting because there's like actual character moments and characters that like, even if it's a little bit cliche, like there's something happening here. Whereas Mick and Tab are just such non-characters. Even his physical strength did not give his life meaning. When you knocked him out cold, he thought he had lost his place in the world. He didn't... He broke the 200-year-old mailbox. Wait. Was that like Land's mailbox or something? Or what's the deal with that? I've never really made like the distinct connections between these games, but I've also not played Operation Shooting Star. Like the Star Force connection shit. And I bet that maybe explains some of the connections more explicitly. I don't know. And you know, I've thought about it like with the. Oh, okay. Geo said it was a mailbox styled after the ones 200 years ago. Gotcha. That's a piece of history. Put that shit in a museum. But regarding like Battle Network 7, I was thinking about it and I was like, you know, if they just made another RPG-esque Mega Man game, I there's a small crossover in game. Don't remember how to trigger it. Is that in this game or is that an Operation Shooting Star though? Like the BN1 remake or remaster or whatever, or with the second screen. What would you call Operate Shooting Star? Is that a remake, or is that more of just like an enhanced port? Because like, would you call Double Team a remake? Oh, it's in Star Force. Okay. I wonder if you just need save data from BN1 or something, because I could pull that off. Like if you need a Battle Network game in the second slot or something. What the? OSS is a legit crossover. This crossover is a more like a direct Easter egg. Okay. It does need a BN game in the slot. Okay. I can pull that off. That's not. I'm pretty sure there's a setting for that, like selecting what game you want in the slot. I think you do need a ROM for it though, but that's not a problem. This Cygnus. Sonya. I don't remember. I don't remember which events are like Star Force 1 and Star Force 2. Like some of it's kind of blurred together for me. Like for some reason I remember Taurus Fire being fought at like a ski resort or something. But I don't know if that's like you rematch him there and or that's what happens in Star Force 2 or something weird, but Flap Pack, interesting name. It's like a backpack that flaps. That does happen in Star Force 2. Okay, okay. Then maybe I'm just way more familiar with Star Force 2 than Star Force 1. That kind of adds up. I wouldn't be surprised if I like traded in my Star Force 1 copy for Star Force 2 when that came out. It's because that's, you know, that's how you did it back in the day. To get new games as a kid. Email. When particularly strong viruses get a hold of a battle card, it'll sometimes change into a star card. Each star card has a special star power effect. If you use a star power in battle, the card will get powered up, along with all the other cards in the custom screen that have the same name. You can have up to 5 star cards, and there can be multiple copies of the same card, but you can only use 1 star power per turn. Each star power can only be used once per battle. How do you use a star power, though? Because now I want to put more, Tourist Battle just happens, though. Can we move on in the story? It's like a tutorial boss fight kind of thing. Is that how that works? This is lit. Star Power is also DX too. Oh, it's a DX exclusive thing? Was that not in... Don't know if it's Japanese exclusive. Is something like that in Star Force 2 or 3, though? Because now that I know that it powers up other ships of the same type... Oh, spontaneous battle. Oh, so it's kind of like fighting Gutsman kind of thing, right? Maybe? Like how Lan like fights Gutsman at the beginning of each game, like kind of just like a... Star Power's in Star Force 2, but in a different fashion. Okay. What do I want to cut for some of these ground waves? I guess like 2 barriers is kind of overkill. I feel like 3 recovery 30s is also kind of overkill for now. Maybe I just want 2 of each of these. Or the same standard class card, okay. But then we'll take Taurus Fire. Can have 1 more. I guess I'll take the recovery 30 back for now. Sort of, but just got too heated up. Okay. Yeah, I bet I'll remember more about Star Force 2 when we get to it. I don't know if I ever finished it, though. I don't remember. On air. Oh, so this is like multiplayer stuff. Let's find the rematch. Yep, it's a bench, all right. That's funny. Oh, I have to go home, okay. Oh, Matt. Okay. Interesting. Got some big cannons. Oh, I see. We'll get rid of these holy panels. Oh wait, if I just throw this normally... That's not what I meant to do. So there should be an Echo Ridge. Not sure, some time has to pass. Probably. Oh, did we just get a Gatling Plus? That's kind of badass. 2 extra shots. Hell yeah. What do I sub for it? Air spread, I guess? We'll favorite this one instead. I don't think I have any other Gatlings, do I? No. It's like side quests. The star power thing's kind of cool, yeah. No bus. School, huh? Metal Gear, huh? Okay. Asking someone else. Aha. Okay. Go buy some juice. Alright, we can maybe find, Forest Fires rematch. You said you thought it was an Echo Ridge. It's not in the comp, right? Like, it's just on the net. Which I should probably save for, now that I think about it. Save. Hello? Oh, sick. We can use, So these all paralyze now. Not that it matters for this battle, but... Oh, it passes through things? Like that? Should just be on a wave road, no comps. Okay, sick. Also, there's a Met. There's another virus in the real world down there. Which I'll check out in a second. Or wait, can't? Oh no, wait, yeah, I just interact with it normally. Let me pulse out real quick, since we're so close to the entrance. Ground wave is pretty much wave arm from BN6. Turns once. Interesting. Now, obviously, oh, there's a longsword unfort. Cannon Star now. I need to remember to like look around with the visor. Yeah, that must be a DX edition as well. Maybe it was cut content. If I had to guess, a lot of these editions are cut content from the Japanese version. Now, the icing on the cake would be if you could, like, select which form you want in the game instead of being locked into one. At least I'm assuming that that's not how it works. As far as like Pegasus, Leo, or Dragon, I'm assuming that it just depends on which ROM you patched. Did I check this dead end? I might as well. Yeah. Another IRL. $400 Zenny, jeez. Damn it. I guess it's like so easy to eliminate mobs, I might as well just do it. Let me check this way first. Good thing you mentioned the DX patch. Yeah, no facts. Facts. I think I had like caught it at a glimpse when I was looking into it, but I probably would not have. It's one of those things I probably would have looked into after streaming it and playing through it. Because that's usually how I, yeah, I guess it depends. Usually I like to play games as vanilla as possible the first time through. It just depends. Sometimes I don't give a shit and I'll just take the quality of life one off the bat. And plus, it's not really my first time playing, it's just been a while. But the mention is definitely appreciated. Alright, so I can... Wait. So this is how you do like side quests and shit like that? Let me see what the email even says. The game lets you know who has quests, yeah. I'm assuming that's not in the vanilla version. Probably. And I mean, it's not a quest tracker, but it's close enough. Multiple quests too, yeah, you can take on multiple at once. It's kind of OP. Battle Network needed this kind of shit too, probably. Oh, it has multiple elements? That's kind of cool. I mean, I guess a lot of the sword attacks had multiple elements in the later BN games, right? Dude, where the fuck is Taurus Fire? He's gotta be over in this area. Yeah, there he... Oh, he's just like, literally just chilling. I'll take the recovery 30 just to kind of burn it. That was unfortunate. Oh, that does a lot, wow. Oh, that's new too, his model actually being there. Alright, it would have been nice to get that while he was on the grass panel, but I'll take it. Yeah, I think I do this. Oh, I need a shield, that's right. Well, obviously melee attacks don't work, so... I didn't save that long ago, though. I think I have to do a few things, but... Okay, yeah. So what, I fought that random... Can I run? That would be nice. Horseman from 400 to 1400. I think I can take him, though. I just need to not, like, get hit. I'll battle the IRL viruses later. Because I'm sure there's more. I just need to, like, look around the real world more deliberately. Because, like, that one I missed earlier as well. I need to accept these quests, and I need to save before I actually talk to Taurus. That would be smart. Dude, the text goes so fast, I love it. Can I run from 2 Mets? Dude, seriously? I have more than double their total health. And they're Mets. SP farming in SF1 and SF2 is a bit difficult. Can I run, dude? What? See, like, I still, like, obviously, even if random encounters aren't fully random, you can't always run. But, like, something I'll note that I really like about SMT games when it comes to random encounters is you have the radar. And so, like, it'll turn red close to when you're going to hit an encounter, so you at least know to anticipate it. But random encounters are so annoying still, because I find myself running from, like, 90% of them. Unless it's a formation that I can easily take on, or maybe I just feel underleveled or just feel like battling, but it's like, I just don't want to battle unless I want to battle kind of thing. Don't remember if it was SF2 or 3 where the max out an SP chip was bumped to 12 seconds instead of 10. Interesting. So I wonder if it's even, like, fully worth it for me to fight this guy right now, or if I should just come back when I can beat him quickly. I was doing okay, though. This is an unfortunate hand, though. Save the Gatling for later. I'm very bad. That's hard to land. I kind of want to save the attack 10. Okay. Yeah, we'll star power this. That did a shit ton. We take those. Unfortunately, star power doesn't activate for the cards you draw from countering, but that was bad. Oh wait, we actually landed. He just jumped right into it. I wish I had grass stage right now. Oh shit, I forgot to guard, damn it. Also, I'm out of chips. Cards, whatever. So this might get a little bit dicey. Oh wait. Did they recycle or something? Or did I just... Look, about a second one. I'm guessing I can't run more than one, though. I'm just not even sure if that's the right decision for me to do, right? Because then he's gonna free roam if I had to guess. So, like, is it better to just leave him there until I can S-rank him? Let me just see if I can run multiple. I doubt it. You can't add 2 of the same Mega or Giga class cards. So I'm like, should I just soft reset in that case? And not fight him? I'm kind of thinking yes. Because then I have a guaranteed fight for when I can S-rank him later. And maybe get his EX, or whatever they call it, card. Instead. V3 may have super armor. I also just don't want to, like... I don't want to run into his V3, you know what I mean? Casually. Considering his V2 is tanky enough to burn through my entire folder. It's kind of fun, though, but, like... Oh, what's up with the RC thing? Do I have to wave pulse into it? Or do I just hit A on it? Oh, that's right, yeah. The, I was gonna go into the vending machine, that's right. Let's fight these guys first, though. I'm thinking I'll probably wrap it up soon, but I'm like actually enjoying this. So I don't want to call it too early. I want to look for these Mets that are in the real world. There's one over here. Right, on the other side. Up at Vista Point. Okay. Alright, this should clean up. Or at least we landed 80 on this guy. The vulnerability frames and stuff I'm still trying to, like, kind of figure out. Because some attacks, like the Taurus Fire's, like, charge, for instance, you can kind of walk into after he's landed it. Oh, right, we can check out this guy's profile, too. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. I could skip this. Tom Dubious. Definitely not going to be a bad guy. Meta. So is that money going to be in a comp? I assume not, because he said he lost it somewhere on Vista Point, and I'm like, is that IRL? Is that in a comp? Is that mystery data? Is that... Oh wait, you can skip the little intro thing? Whoops. Might be the bench. I was kind of thinking the same thing. I just wasn't sure if it was cyber or not. That just seems like a very Battle Network design decision to do. Alright, can I run? Okay. But I do want to explore somewhat thoroughly, maybe. I don't know if this lands. I think it does, though, right? Yeah. Made it to internet hell. Did your internet die on you, or what? Ground wave 1. I'm pretty sure I explored over here thoroughly already. I just want to... To me, it's harder to keep track of like where I've been and where I haven't. But I think it's because I'm just not as familiar with like Battle Network. I know where the comps are, and so it's pretty easy for me to remember like I've been there already and got the mystery data or whatever. Also because I was like half paying attention earlier. Anything over here? Probably not. Okay, yeah, just the way to the other place. So let's investigate the bench. Oh, BN5. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Just a lot of comps. Star Force 2 has massive areas by comparison. Oh, that's where it was. Okay, so at least it was IRL. And so we complete that, and then I need to investigate... Is the RC guy? Heat Ball 2. Ooh. Nice find. I think it's just keeping up with comps whenever they unlock is like the main key to it. That's how I handle it with BN too. It's like just jack into everything. Let's take care of this vending machine. Then go talk to what's her name. Not in range. Any mystery datas? There's gotta be at least one. This dude's funny. They look like Chow from Sonic Adventure. Oh, speaking of which, I literally... Because I grabbed the Sonic Adventure DX I grabbed Sonic Adventure DX on Steam like, I don't know, a while back for like $2 or whatever it is. Those games are super cheap on Steam. Like SA2, I want to say is like $10, just not even on sale or something weird. Which is cool. I mean, like I own both of them. And you mod up SA1 and it looks really good. I'll always stand SA2 over SA1, but like I still like SA1, so I've been like kind of dabbling with that a little bit. Just like not really playing it thoroughly. It's just like, I'll just jump in, play a few Sonic levels or whatever. Shit's my childhood. And I like having them side by side in my Steam library too. What I love doing is like, there's this website called Steam Grid where you can get like, people can upload custom artwork for Steam games. Because, you know, a lot of Steam games, if you leave them with their default art, it like looks all cluttered and the logos don't line up. And sometimes you get that weird one where it's like you have like this tall, like 600 by 900 grid, and you'll just have like the banner like in the middle of that. It's not like a full piece of art. And so I always like painstakingly, not always painstakingly, but I've painstakingly gone through a lot of that stuff to make my Steam library look pretty, which is cool. Maybe I'll show it off someday, because I think it looks really sick. And I like make my own grids and stuff like that for the games to like line up the logos and shit like that. Because there's not always grids that line up nicely like that. And I also use Steam Edit to change what certain games are considered as far as like naming. Because sometimes certain series, some companies are really good about it. Like, if you go into like the Batman Arkham games, they're labeled as like Batman Arkham 1, 2, 3, 4, as opposed to their names. Like, they're listed as their names, but they're sorted by a different moniker. But some series are not as good about that. And so you can like kind of manually go in and change that, which is cool. Propeller Man. So, oh, okay, I see. Ooh, attack 10 star. I wonder what that does. These star cards are really influencing what I want to put in my folder. It's cool. Oh, this dude, yeah. Cannon star. Power up plus 50 attack and spreads 3x3? Dude, that's nasty. What the hell? What other star cards do I have? Tailburner, plus 40, and HP bugs the enemy. Plus 10 attack to all cards. Oh. So, I guess effectively plus 20? Could have been Gyro Man's time to shine, that's facts. I'm gonna redo my folder. Until we get the wide sword and long sword star cards, I might end up bailing on them, potentially. But I want to build around stars. Taurus Fire for sure, this for sure, these for sure. Paralyzed Plus I'm kind of like torn on, because I've got star cards that do that. I like this to synergize with my fire cards. Take those. Fire ring is whatever until I get the star. Heat ball 2. That might... We'll come back to that. Gatling. We'll take the cannons. So we got 19 out of 30. I don't see a reason to use Ice Stage right now until I have elect cards that can make use of it. Star Power really shakes up Star Force 1. Yeah, it makes it a lot more dynamic compared to what I thought of it at first glance. Or, well, first glance and for the first time in a while. I'll take Heat Ball 2. I like the plasma guns just for stun locking. 7 more. I feel like Ice Meteor's not that great now that we're not fighting Taurus. Air Spread seems decent though. I think Star Cards are the reason the game allows for 4 copies. Star Force was always 3 copies. Oh, that makes sense. That's one of those things where if they do a Star Force collection, it'd be kind of a shame if you couldn't patch in the DX stuff, or if Capcom doesn't do it themselves. Would be nice. I guess we'll take the Paralyzed Plus, because if you put these on a Gatling, that gets pretty nasty. I do like having Recovery 30s because I can heal in battle instead of having to do it outside of battle with items that cost Zenny. But I'll just do 2. And then maybe... hoping it was cut content, otherwise the collection may not have it. Yeah, if it was cut content, then I think it's safe to say it would come in a collection. Like they did for BN. Can I squeeze in a second wide sword? I like the idea of having 2. Maybe instead of one of the plasma guns. Yeah, I guess the plasma gun's kind of redundant if I have the paralyzed chips. And wouldn't I just want to favorite the star cards, basically? Like, isn't that just kind of disgusting? But then again, you're always synergizing these with their exclusive chips, so having them be white cards doesn't really change much, I suppose. Right? Like, I'm not really going to use this. Like, favorites don't work like a reg chip, you know what I mean? So if I'm using this, if I favorite it, like... yeah, it synergizes with these, but I always want to use them with these, which I can do without favoriting it, so why would I do that? Which means I want to favorite stuff that doesn't have a star card attached to it, right? That's how I'm making sense of it, at least. These are already white cards. Star cards gain more values with more copies of themselves, which already synergize without the favoriting system or the white card system. So yeah, which means I'm kind of limited on what I really want to select, but I guess it's like kind of just whatever that doesn't have anything. So not cannon. The plasma guns are an option. Let's do both just for now. Gatling, no. Heat ball I've got. Wide sword, long sword. Take it or leave it. No, no. Maybe recovery 30s. Just to be able to pair these with anything, regardless of placement, and that way I can burn them or use them if I really want to. This is neat. I dig this. If I had even more synergy, I would do it, but... I mean, I guess I could add... I feel like that looks fine for now. Save. I'm gonna keep making fun of that because it's just too funny. So he works for Mr. Boreal. This dude needs some vitamin C. He's looking a little sickly. Mr. Tom Dubious. See, now I feel bad for shit-talking the DS's library when I was streaming Grand Coliseum, I think it was, or XG, one of those. But it was more so just like outside of a few core franchises, I don't feel like the library's that strong. But like, it kind of is just by virtue of those franchises having entries there. You know, Castlevania, Pokemon, Star Force, Fire Emblem. I think Shadow Dragon's really good, despite the animations being horrendously ugly. I'm sure I'm forgetting something too. Like Ace Attorney, I guess, is one that I haven't gotten into, but even though that game started on the DS, like it's accessible elsewhere, so I just kind of... I don't always equate certain games to those systems, but they did debut on the DS, I think. These guys are really little shits in the beginning, aren't they? I was not paying attention to the dialogue, really. I was too busy rambling about the DS library. What is this? Fancy condo complex. Ah. I should probably save more often. This is like low-key kind of scary. Well, then again, I can just kind of avoid... Yeah, like I just... Yeah, I was like, it's kind of difficult to land these on those guys, isn't it? Couple of dope Dragon Ball games on the DS. That sounds about right. I don't remember what they were, but I think you're right. Yeah, I think the DS library is stronger than I ever gave it credit for like last year. Primarily because I've been delving more into it, I guess. Oh, another one. Another one. I'm gonna save, though. Just... save. Yeah, Castlevania was one that I mentioned that is pretty strong. I'm not like super wild about Dawn of Sorrow or Order of Ecclesia, but they're good. Like they've got a lot of merit there. Ooh, recovery 50. Too bad I don't have any other recovery 50s to synergize, but invisible for 4 seconds? It's kind of cool. Hits all panels and freezes enemy. Oh shit. Is that worth putting in? Then again, you also don't want to rely too much on star cards, I feel like, because then you're just waiting on Attack of the Saiyans. That sounds familiar. And Supersonic Warriors 2. You don't always want to wait on star cards, though, because then you're just not using anything. But the synergies are so powerful that I'm, like, so tempted to just put all of them in here. I mean, I guess even just... Well, you can only use one power-up per battle. That's what I gotta consider, too. But then again, most battles, it's like, you're not... There's a balance. And, like, you don't have to use it either. What else did I get? The recovery 50, that's right. I feel like we just wait on that. I think that's fine. But yeah, I think that's a good stopping point, though. Been going for a while. We finished the first arc, and I guess technically started the second arc, but I'll finish up the second arc next time, and then probably push a little bit past, because I can't imagine we have that much further to go till the second boss. I meant to save, god damn it. Well, I guess I saved, like, right before interacting with my bed, so... Yes. We'll save... And this way, yeah, Attack of the Saiyans I've heard of, a cool turn-based RPG. I'll probably need to like delve into more obscure DS titles that aren't like maybe like licensed stuff like that. Third arc may be a long one, so maybe we can get a head start on the third arc next time as well.